Hi, I'm former NFL quarterback Gus Frerotte. I played quarterback 15 years in the NFL. This is my show called Huddle Up with Gus. Each week I team up with my longtime friend Dave Hager, and we talk with guests about how sports shape their lives. Pro athletes, business executives, community leaders, everyone has a story to tell about sports. We invite you to Huddle Up with Gus. This week in the Huddle. Not every great athlete ends up in the NFL, the NBA, or even the Olympics. Some take a different path. Our next guest is one of the world's greatest dancers. Please welcome into the Huddle, DJ Smart. Dave, we have a great guest on today. You talk about superior athletics. There's no more superior than a dancer and somebody that can do what DJ does. So today we have DJ Smart in the Huddle with us. And I think we're going to have a great conversation to find out about his life and how he got to where he is today because of sports. So DJ, thank you for coming in the Huddle. We really appreciate it. So where we always start is when you were growing up. I think you grew up in Detroit, is that correct?
I did, Motor City.
Motor City. I played there one year.
Yeah?
For the Lions.
What? Lions, yeah.
Yeah, so what area of Detroit did you grow up?
I moved around a lot, but primarily Southwest Detroit.
Oh, okay. So when you were growing up, was there an influence in your life that really started you in sports? Because I think we saw, Dave, you saw that DJ, you played basketball, was it, and track?
Yeah. My family, my mom was kind of a tomboy, and my dad obviously played sports and stuff as well, just for fun. But my mom, she would jet ski, she would play basketball, so did a lot of my family. And I was just a very active kid, so I got into basketball, and then I wanted to run track, and then I got into Glee Club. I just would try anything because I just wanted to just be busy. And then my knees started getting really weird, and my doctor was like, you're not supposed to dance and do track, so you have to pick one. Like, it's kind of counterproductive. So I was like, I guess I'll just dance then.
So like, how old were you when you started dancing?
I was always dancing socially, like at parties and stuff, but I started training formally at 12.
Okay.
Where did you train when you were in Detroit?
I started at a dance studio called Detroit Dance Center, and then I switched to another one called Femme Fatale Dance Studio, and that was outside of school. During school, I went to an art school starting in the 5th grade, and I studied dance there as well.
Oh, wonderful. So did your parents, you had a lot of things like most of us kids, we were into a lot of activities. So were your parents very supportive of everything you were doing? Because you usually choose one, and that I really love. Like for me, I thought it was baseball, and then it ended up being football.
Yeah.
So for you were playing a lot of sports. So how did that go with your parents?
Well, it's crazy. My parents have always been supportive. I think they were more so like, as long as he's staying out of trouble and as long as he's busy and not bothering us, just let him do it. Let him do track. Just let him do it. I got amazing grades and stuff as well. So I think that was their primary concern. I don't think they really paid attention that much. And I didn't either to, I guess, how talented I was or how gifted I was, or what my natural ability was in certain areas. Because it wasn't until one of my teachers at school, she heard me sing, and she had me be a part of the school's production of Little Mermaid. So embarrassing. And they cast me as Sebastian. I just had a great time, and I was just singing and dancing. And after that, she was like, he really needs to go to an art school. Like, he's really talented. So I think that's when my parents started to listen. They didn't know too much about it. I'm the oddball in the family. I'm the only entertainer. Nobody dances, nobody sings, nobody plays an instrument, like not at all. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I've just always kind of tried stuff. I always say dance chose me. I didn't really choose it because I didn't know anything about it either. I was like, guys don't dance. Like, guys play football, basketball. So yeah, I guess here I am.
Was there pretty obvious talent right from the beginning, though? Like you said, your parents didn't really pay attention to how good you were, but you knew you were probably pretty special, right?
Well, I was always shy. I mean, I knew I had some ability, but I didn't, in my mind, I didn't know that you could make a career out of it. I didn't think it would be a real thing. Like, my passion was writing and psychology. That's what I wanted to go to school for. But like I said, you don't see a lot of guys dancing. It's kind of like you think it's a hobby, a side thing, but it's like, what are you really going to do? Like, you can really play football or you can really be a news reporter, but, I think we just they continue to allow me to do what I loved. And I think I surprised myself and I surprised them.
So, did you have an idol? Like, was there somebody you looked up to in dance that you really wanted to be like or follow?
I didn't. I was always, when I was younger, I started dancing because I loved watching Michael Jackson, MC Hammer, and Janet Jackson. I would sit in front of the TV all day and try to learn the dance moves. I would teach myself the choreography from the videos. So those were my idols who I looked up to. But as far as actual dance idols, I didn't know anything about it. One of my teachers took me to see Alvin Ailey for the first time, and that's the first time I saw males dancing. I was like, oh, they're incredible, like, wow, but I didn't know who they were, or I thought maybe this is just a certain company where they have a lot of guys or something. I didn't know that guys actually dance.
So your teacher really helped you understand that this is possible for you. This is something that you can have a goal and work towards.
She did, yeah. She I think that was her whole purpose of getting me the tickets to go see it, to show me like this could be you. I really believe that you could do this and this could be you. Because I think she saw me kind of pulling away from it. Because I did not like it at first. I only liked doing hip hop and like jazz, but she made me take everything. She's like, you have to know how to do ballet and modern and everything. And I was just like, this is stupid. I don't want to wear tights. I don't want to stand on my toes. I don't want to this is so dumb. But I also don't like not getting something. It drives me nuts. I don't like not being good at something. So I'll just keep trying until I get better at it.
So when you were young, what was the hardest form of dance that you had to do? Was it ballet?
Oh, by far, ballet is the hardest. I always say it's so interesting because I've played basketball and done numerous sports. And I'm like, no offense to athletes, but I'm like, I don't see how they get paid millions of dollars to do all of this because this is way harder. I've done it and I'm like, ballet is way harder and people think it's just graceful and it's pretty. You use literally every muscle in your body. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
I don't know how you can try to stand on your toes. I barely can walk down the steps. So, what you guys, what ballet is phenomenal. It's that's what I was telling Dave. Between that and an Olympic gymnast, it's the ultimate athletes.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. And then beyond the physicality of it, the illusion of making it appear graceful is also hard because it's the opposite. You're dying inside. It's very painful.
So is there a lot of weightlifting involved in ballet? You have to be strong to be able to do a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, everyone does, for males in particular, some people go to the gym, some people do their own private workout or whatever. I don't, but you do have to be strong. You have to understand the mechanics of the body because we do a lot of partnering, lifting girls over our heads or guys, or I've lifted both at the same time during certain things, so if you don't know how that works and you're not strong enough, then it can be very dangerous.
I can imagine the practicing of that. There's probably some mishaps.
Oh yeah.
All the time. You have to have strength. You have to have coordination, and timing. Timing is everything. You have to bend your knees at the same time as your partner. You guys have to. It's kind of like a relationship. You guys have to be on the same wave frequency, which is hard. because sometimes you don't know the person that well, or sometimes you might be tired that day and then they're not, or the opposite. So things change. So you always have to have that sense of unity, so you don't get hurt.
So DJ, you were obviously excelling in the arts, and it sounds like your grades were excellent and you were very well-rounded. You probably had a lot of options as you were getting older towards going into into the college years. Like, what made you choose? You went to school in Philadelphia, but you probably had a lot of options. Like, tell us about that process.
So I originally, as I excelled through high school, I learned that I could actually go to college for dance and possibly work in the dance industry. And I did an audition, and within that audition, there were about 30 representatives, I think, from 30 different colleges and universities. And at the time, I wanted to go to New World School of the Arts in Florida.
You wanted to get out of the cold in Detroit,
Yeah,
where it was warm.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to go there, or I want to go to NYU. Those were my top two choices. Well, I auditioned, and I got into every single school, all 30 schools, except those two. Like, I got into the University of the Arts. I even got into Juilliard. I got into everywhere. I didn't even want to go to Juilliard at the time. I was like, I don't want to go there. I want to go to NYU or
Right.
School of the Arts. Every school except those two, and I just laughed. I went to the University of the Arts. They gave me a full ride, and I was like, I'll go to college and get this degree. Why not? It's free, and then I'll come back for journalism or psychology. So that's what I did. Yeah.
So when you were in high school, part of our show is about transitions that we all make, and going into ninth grade is very difficult for a lot of people and kids today. What was that transition from, you started dancing, you weren't doing sports anymore. How was that transition for you going into high school and going through that? Because as an athlete, I can understand it. And I just want to see from your world what that was like for you.
It was very challenging for me. A lot of things still are. Going into high school, I think it's a very pivotal time in your life. You're trying to find yourself. You're trying to decide what you want to do with your life, with your future, all while trying to be cool and be accepted as well.
Right.
So that was really hard for me because I loved to dance, but I wasn't sure if I was going to do it professionally or if I could. And I also didn't have anyone to compare it to, because still to this day, I kind of paved my own way and had an interesting journey, but I don't have a dancer's body. Like, I more so have a body for football or for wrestling or something else. Like, dancers, guys are usually very sculpted, but long and thin, and they lean towards taller guys. I'm 5'8", I'm not tall at all, so literally everything against me, but I was like, I just loved it. But going through high school was very difficult when you don't have a reference point or something to compare it to. People have basketball players, they know what team they want to play for. They're like, this person is my idol. Or different writers, they're like, I like this person's work, and Paulo Coelho is great. I want to do stuff like that. Me, I'm like, I just started dancing and I'm learning about all of this stuff, and I don't see too many black guys dancing that look like me. So, I don't know what to do from here.
Yeah, you were groundbreaking.
Yeah. The doors are opening, I just kind of went with it. So that's what I did. I was just like, I never expected to go far or to do too much, but I was like, you have a full scholarship on your platter. Why waste it? Go get the dance degree and then go back to school, and then you'll be done with that and you'll do psychology or journalism.
So when you get to college, you're in high school, you're probably top of your class and most of the stuff we've been talking about. When you get to college, now suddenly the competition levels probably increased significantly. There's a lot of people that are on par with you probably. What was that like?
Well, it was interesting, the transition. I mean, I've always been a hard worker and overachiever. For me, college was the opposite. I thought it was challenging in a number of ways. My professors challenged me, but as far as other dancers, because I had trained in high school and then after school was finished, I would go to a dance studio and train. I was always training and always working. So when I got to college, I was like, everybody's going to be amazing. And, and there were some amazing dancers, but it turned out to be the opposite. Everybody was like looking at me like, he's like great, like he's amazing, which I didn't think so, because I was like, I just started and all of my teachers were mean. And even if you didn't, they wouldn't tell you that you were doing good. Just if they didn't say anything, you just assumed that you were doing okay. So I didn't know how good I was, because in my mind I wasn't, where they wanted me to be. But it was very challenging because I was one of the stronger dancers in my class. So the level of the class, the teachers were trying to get everyone up to where I was, which meant that classes weren't as challenging for me. So I had to go take class which they allowed me to. I was a freshman taking class with seniors, like extra classes, so that I could be challenged, which some of the seniors didn't really like that, but the teachers allowed me to.
Yeah.
I had to take it upon myself to get the challenge and the training and stuff from elsewhere, to make use of the time.
Well, yeah, when you're older and you have like a rookie, so you'd have been like a rookie, you come in and they're all of a sudden given all the same kind of accolades and everything as an older person. It is hard, and mentally and emotionally you have to say, okay, why is this guy getting all the same stuff that I'm getting?
Yeah, who's this guy?
Yeah, who's this guy? He's come from Detroit. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
So one question I have is, what is it like at an art school? Because I don't know this. Like, obviously going to college for me, played football, but also had to go to class. Is art school kind of the same thing? You could take your choices, or was it just dance all the time? I don't understand that world, so if you could elaborate on that for me, that'd be great.
It's pretty, I guess it's pretty similar to, well, not to everything, but the way that it works usually is that you have your regular core classes that you have to take. So people get the misconception, we don't just dance all day. They're like, you don't have to do anything. I'm like, no, I still have to take religion courses and history courses and liberal arts, and we still have to take anatomy and English, and I have to take pedagogy and all of these different things. But in addition to that, you take dance classes, and then the way my school worked, you had to also take acting, and you had to take vocal lessons too, voice lessons, whether you wanted to sing or not, because that's a part of it. All kind of interweaves,
Right.
And then outside of all of those things, you can decide what you want to take as an elective. Like if you want to take salsa, or if you want to take, I don't know, something else, a hip hop class or something that you like. But generally, within my college curriculum, you had to take everything the first 2 years, ballet, modern, and jazz. It was a requirement. Then moving into your junior year, you decided what you wanted to major in, which was ballet or modern or jazz. And it shifts because you take more of that than anything else. And you still take other things, but your primary attention is on that one thing.
So, did you have an internship when you were in college?
I didn't. I was very lucky.
You're able to miss that one, huh?
Yeah, I did have an internship. I was very lucky. But it was very difficult, though. I was a full-time student, and then I was working at dance studios outside of school to make money to buy books and stop teaching and stuff.
Yeah, Philly's expensive. My daughter goes to vet school at Penn, so I understand what Philly is like a little bit. I was just there over the weekend. So so where is the College of Arts in Philly?
It's in Center City.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's right on Broad Street and Walnut.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's in between Temple University and Drexel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just at Sabrina's. It's a breakfast place. Do you know that? Yeah, it was great. We went there for breakfast over the weekend.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. So college it's a pretty interesting time for everyone. So like for me, sometimes in the summer I went back home. Sometimes I stayed at school and worked. Did you ever go back to Detroit during college?
I did. Usually it was only for holiday breaks, like for Thanksgiving and Christmas, because I'm so hungry. I want to go home. Like, Mom, please cook for me, everything, and also, of course, to spend time with my family. But usually those two holidays is when I went. During spring break and during the summer, I was usually away. So that's I've always just been like that. Even in middle school during the summer, I would go to an arts camp and I would be gone training while everyone else was, going to parties and concerts and Six Flags during the summer. I was working all the time,
busy.
So, yeah.
So now in college, you're getting towards the end. You probably have a pretty good idea you're going to be professionally in the arts. What happened, or what was the first break you got, or did for a political science major, a business student, they started interviewing with companies and that kind of stuff. What went on in your world with that?
Well, while I was in college, I was actually fortunate enough to work while I was in school. There were a couple of dance companies that were interested in me, and they hired me for a few shows, and I got to guest with them, which was nice. So I didn't have a tough transition after college was over, but I think the thing that started my, journey or stardom was, I think it was my junior year. I was invited to perform on the show So You Think You Can Dance as a guest. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I had never done anything to that magnitude. I think that was my first time performing on TV. And I was just really confused. I was like, they're calling me I was like, oh, maybe they're I don't know, putting together a big group number or something. And I was like, I don't know why they would be calling me. And I'll never forget, Nigel Lithgow, one of the producers, was like, yeah, the guest performers will be you, Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull and American Ballet Theater. And I was just like,
wow. That's a pretty good group to be in.
Yeah, I was just like, why? I thought they had the wrong number. I was like,
yeah. So what did you, when you went there and did that, what did you have, what were you dancing hip hop? What were you what was your style?
I was dancing contemporary. I did a contemporary solo where I was handcuffed the whole time. Yeah.
Well, that had to be tough.
I decided it'd be a good idea to challenge myself, and I'm always trying to do something different and something unique, and I've always been made fun of and praised for my legs. They're people used to call me Hercules, your legs are so crazy, you're so strong. I was like, why not do something with that? Why not showcase how unusually strong my legs are? So I'm like, what if I could do an entire dance without using my arms? I've never seen that done before, and it would probably be really difficult. But if I pulled it off, it would be pretty awesome, which I did. And they loved it, and I'll never do it again because it was very difficult.
I couldn't imagine that. How do you, with that type of dance, without using your arms as balance, how does that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just, I usually just go in the studio and in the dance studio, and I improv, I just play. I'm like, let's see what we can do with this. I literally remember I was in college, and I came up with the idea, and I went to there was a adult exotic store around the corner. And I was like, where am I going to get handcuffs from? I was like, okay, I'm going to go in here and get them. So I went in, and they're like, what do you need? I'm like, I need handcuffs. They're like, okay, so we have these with the fur, we have these here. I was like, no, it's not like that. We're not doing that. It's not that type of thing. They're like,
Yeah, I think Dave has the ones with the fur on.
Mine are velvet, actually.
Oh, velvet,
Yeah,
okay.
Softer.
Softer.
So yeah, I literally went and bought some from there and just went in the studio and played around. I was like, how can I get in and out of this? How can I use my body like with this? And that's how it came about. Yeah.
So that sounds like it went very well. Like, what happened next? Like, you definitely garnered some attention with that.
Yeah. After that, I definitely my following increased, and I got a lot of inquiries. And shortly after I moved to Italy, I danced with a company there. I lived in Venice, and then I started training a little bit there as well. Then I moved back to Philadelphia, I guested with a company there, and then I moved to Los Angeles and started dancing commercially there, which is where I live now.
What is art? Like, you've been overseas, you've been all around the world dancing. How are other countries, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out, like, in their kind of viewership or audience of the arts and what you do compared to the United States? Because it seems, those places seem to have, like, if you go to France and Italy and all those places,
Like more appreciative to
Yes.
what you do versus here, or similar, or like, how would you call it?
I think the mentality and the appreciation is much different. I do feel appreciated in the States, but I do, particularly in Europe, I noticed that I get a bigger response there, and they're more inclined to art there. They love dance. They treat them like royalty. Like in certain places, they're theater goers. They go to the opera. They go see ballets. They enjoy these things, which in our country, I feel as though, as far as the arts are concerned, people lean more so towards singing. I don't know why. I think, like I said, people have the misconception. For some reason, dance isn't that interesting to people, or it's not that hard. They don't think it's that hard.
Right.
But it's a testament to why, like I said, we have like 6, 7 vocal competition shows on TV, like right now. But there's like 1 or 2 dance shows, or even like America's Got Talent, or any talent competitions. Usually a singer wins.
Well, if it is dance, it's usually like hip hop or something. Or I think there was on America's Got Talent, because my friend Terry Crews is, on that show, and he's introducing all the talent. They had a big group. I don't know if they were from Russia or Ukraine or somewhere.
I think
India?
India.
Yeah.
India.
So they were from India, and they were great.
Yeah.
But, still they don't win. Like, they want to see the guy who comes off the street and has a big beard and plays guitar and sings some song. But no, I understand. So what?
The appreciation is much better, in my opinion.
Well, DJ was on that show too. You were on it, right? You've been on most all of them, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's been on every show. If there's dance, he's been there.
Right.
They want DJ to be a part of it.
Well, I wanted to ask him, so just real quick, I saw in your bio that you were on So You Think You Can Dance Ukraine edition. Is that?
Yeah.
What was that? How is that different? Like, are there different judges, or like?
There's different judges. I did the same thing for the most part. They asked me to perform as a guest, and I performed a solo. But the judges are different. Everything is different. The hours are different. They work them really hard, and they don't get paid as much. I mean, usually when you're on shows like that, you don't get paid anyway. A lot of people don't know that, which is an interesting thing. You get like a little stipend maybe to buy personal things like toiletries or whatever you may need, but some upside to it and a downside. You're exposed, and you get all these opportunities sometimes after, but while you're on the show, it's just a long list of restrictions and long hours.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky, like I said, they work way more hours than contestants that I know on the US show. Like crazy hours, like 6 in the morning till like 2 in the morning.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, they'll be doing interviews at like 2 a.m. It's pretty insane.
I have a feeling that Pitbull and Enrique Iglesias weren't in the Ukraine, or were they?
No.
They didn't go over there with you.
That one.
So, dance, there's a lot of shows around it, though. I think there's been a lot of movies and shows. So right now, what shows do you like that are on, either Netflix, regular TV, or cable shows that you like that have dance in? Because there are some that my wife and I will watch and really enjoy.
There's no shows with dance that I like at this moment. I always appreciate the shows for bringing dance to the forefront and for making people more aware of it. But a lot of times it's saturated and it's very, I want to be careful with my words. It's very saturated and it's not realistic to the art form. Like, they urge them to do a lot of tricks and a lot of flashy stuff, or to dance to like these popular Billboard music songs, because they think that viewers are not smart, and if they don't have a reference point to connect it to, they're not going to be interested in it because it's not interesting. But I don't know. I disagree. I think if you're great at what you do, it won't matter. It's the same thing singing-wise. Like Bruno Mars, he has a very old sound, and it's not the trendy, popular thing, but it works for him, and he does it well. Same thing, Amy Winehouse or whoever. They don't really change according to trends. So there's no shows that I watch because I'm like, this looks the same. This is really acro in gymnastics. You're just flipping every 5 seconds. Like, there's no artistry, there's no technique, there's no emotion. It's all to get an applause.
Right. So what would be your favorite movie that you've watched?
That involves dance?
Yeah, like you said, okay, this is true. You're really watching some people perform at their highest level.
We're shooting from Pittsburgh, and that was the home of Flashdance.
Oh, well, Flashdance was great.
Flashdance was a good one.
Yeah, Flashdance was amazing.
Well, you probably liked it for a different reason than DJ liked it.
There's a lot of sweating and stuff.
Yeah.
No, Flashdance is absolutely great. Dirty Dancing, that's another classic, obviously. Center Stage, I think, is wonderful as well. There's some really great ones. Break-In and I could go on and on. But usually I think they're like the older movies, more classics, yeah.
So I am assuming that you can do all types of dances. Ballroom, everything.
Everything. Well, not everything, but a lot. Probably like I was trained in 10 to 12 different styles.
That's pretty amazing. So like even the old school movies like you're talking about, like Gene Kelly, like Singing in the Rain, all those old movies that it was big back in the day. A lot of the movies were about dancing and showing that, and they're not like that anymore.
Yeah, it goes through a wave. I feel like it's going to come back though.
So what is it like? So now you said you're in commercial dancing. What does that mean?
So commercial dancing, it's basically, so the difference is that usually there's not a lot of rehearsal time, because in the commercial world, everything is about money and everything is rushed, and it's very flashy. Like, we spend a lot of time in the concert world developing things, taking our time choreographing. Sometimes it takes months to choreograph one ballet, versus commercially, a lot of the jobs I've done, you'll do a music video and there's like 2 rehearsals and then you shoot the music video. So there's no time to really like explore and like create stuff. They're just like, learn this step, side, clap, shimmy, and down, and smile, and then that's it. So it's like, very, very different. So commercial dancing, I feel like it caters to the audience, and concert dancing, it incorporates the audience, but it caters to the art, to what you're feeling, what you're exploring, what you're trying to convey. That's more important. than trying to desperately do anything to get an applause or to get ratings or to get people interested in it. It's more honest, in my opinion.
So what's your typical schedule like? You're teaching all over the world. You're teaching in multiple companies, right? I mean, you sound like you're pretty busy. Like, what's a typical week for DJing?
Well, it changes, but it's pretty busy. On an average, I fly usually 3 to 5 times a week.
Wow.
This year has been one of the busiest. I'm currently on tour with Cher. And then during our breaks, I'm teaching and guest performing at galas or different events. In between, on our days off from tour, I'm teaching in the cities that we're in, or choreographing, and also producing and writing, doing other projects as well. So I'm pretty busy.
Sounds like it. Well, what's life on the road with Cher like?
It's awesome. I mean, it has its pros and cons. You know, I think the best thing is when you get an artist like her who's very down to earth and very cool and relatable, because they're not always like that. They can be very diva-ish or very not kind.
Right.
But she's all of that. She's very kind and very sweet woman. You get to travel and go to a bunch of different places. You get to perform in front of 15 to 30, even more, thousands of people. We did the Met Gala this year, which was really awesome. I never thought that I would be there. I was like, she was the surprise guest. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. Like, you know,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
She has to be very inspirational because she's been doing what she's doing for a long, long time.
She has. It's strange. She said a few weeks ago, she told us, she said, it's so weird. She said, when I first started in this industry, I was one of the youngest people, and now I'm one of the oldest people doing it.
Wow.
She's
Yeah.
like, there was nobody my age when I started, and there's not really a lot of people my age like now.
Maybe what, the Rolling Stones?
That would
Maybe,
be one.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be kind of similar, you know. How many decades has it been for her? It's been 4?
It's been at least 5.
5.
Yeah. I mean, Sonny and Cher started early 70s, maybe, somewhere.
Yeah, she started when she was 15 or 16. She's 73 now.
Wow. And how many years have you been with her?
I've been with her 3 years now.
Wow.
Which like I said, I never planned to be. It just kind of fell into my lap. I didn't even really, I mean, my generation, I knew Cher from the movie Burlesque and
Right.
Believe. Do you believe?
Right.
That's all I know. I didn't know Sonny and Cher like that. It was never on my bucket list, but I just went to the audition. I was like, I'm free this day. I don't really feel like going. I don't need to go because I'm working a bunch of other things, but let's just go and see what happens. And they needed someone who was a dancer and who could do aerial stuff like trapeze and silks. And there were about 400 guys there. They were looking for 2. And out of 400 guys, I was the only one that could do everything that they were asking for.
Yeah. So you were in automatically.
Yeah. That's
what other artists have you been with? Like, where as far as, you know, performed on stage with them, and have you ever done something like I know at the Super Bowl, there's other big spectacles, big shows. Have you done anything like that?
I would love to do the Super Bowl. I have not yet. I have worked with tons of artists. I've worked with 21 Pilots. I've worked with Stevie B. I've worked with the Jacksons. I've worked with Jessie J. Yeah, list goes on and on. Yeah.
So you I mean, somebody at the talent level that you have, I'm sure they're always looking for somebody like you to come on, and you're like, well, I'm doing like 30 things right now, so maybe when I slow down, I'll come back.
It's strange. I mean, I'm in a different place now. I think before I would just take things because I was like, I'm lucky because I think in my mind I was like, I'm short and I don't have the right body type and all these reasons why I shouldn't be doing it. So I'm probably lucky to get this, so I should do it. But now, like I said, I don't feel any pressure, and I've kind of created a lane for myself. I've had a very unique journey where I've been able to guest with companies or perform with artists or pick and choose what I would like to do and what I don't want to do.
I wanted
to be open to try different things. Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask you. So, we have a good family friend who she was. I don't know if you've ever seen the show. It's called Dance Moms in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So Nia Sue. I don't know if you know Nia Sue. So she's a good family friend of ours. Her brother and my son are best friends. They went to high school together. But she has made an incredible career out of starting in dance, although it was on TV and I'm sure very commercialized and all that. But she's taken that to another level where she's making her own music videos. She's on Disney Channel. She's on soap operas. Like it has led to a great career for her.
Yeah,
and,
it's incredible.
And so, what do you say to like kids like that have? I mean, her parents have been very supportive, like yours were, but not everybody's parents are supportive.
That's true.
What do you say to those kids that really think they want to do that and have that aspiration? And how would you motivate them?
I would say if you find something that you're passionate about, to continue doing it, and just to continue doing what you love because you love it. That should always be enough. And if you're lucky to have someone to support you, that should just be a bonus. I think it shouldn't be the deciding factor. And it's easier said than done. Like I said, I was always the only guy in my class, in a ballet class. So that was not very fun. And I got teased a lot and stuff, but I would read, and I would read different stories or watch different things to motivate myself. Or I had a lot of great friends and stuff that would motivate me no matter how weird I was. So you just have to constantly surround yourself with people that support you, and even if they don't understand you, they allow you to be who you are. And like I said, I think that that's the key. And sometimes, it's not going to be the people who you think it will be, but at the end of the day, you have to find ways to motivate yourself. If you love to do something, then I think that that's reason enough to keep doing it.
And don't be discouraged in ways like being told you don't have a dancer's body, and like you have an unconventional dancer's body. You said you're a little shorter than many, and more muscular, and so you're at the top of the game without a dancer's body. Though I've seen your pictures on Google, and we couldn't have less in common body-wise, but
I'm the same way.
Oh.
But it's that there's a stereotype. Right? Just like in football, like you have to be a 6'4" quarterback, and there's all these people breaking those stereotypes now that are coming out and saying, no, you don't. It's about how good you are. It's about the passion you bring.
Yeah.
And I think you've really shown that in your industry.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's very hard, but like I said, if your ability and your love is on a whole nother spectrum, then it just can't be denied. I always say that if you have all of those things against you, but the love and the talent is so undeniable, there's no way anyone can get around it, which is what I think has happened in my case. In many of my experiences, they're like, he's short, or he doesn't have the right body type, he's not what we're looking for, but I'm sorry, we need him. Like, we need one of those. Like, I can use one of those, So you have to be that much better, which is a lot of work. It's really hard, but it's possible. It's not impossible,
What is ASH?
So ASH, it stands for Artist Simply Human. It's a dance convention where we offer classes and Q&As and different workshops. We travel the country. The director and owner is Bram Logan Crane, and he started it because he wanted to connect dancers and teachers and do something for the community to encourage them. And it's basically a tour of notable faculty. Some of them have danced and choreographed for Janet Jackson, for Aaliyah, for Justin Bieber, for Demi Lovato, literally everything. Then you have Broadway Tony-nominated choreographers, tappers, everything. All of us get together and we travel every weekend to a new city and we teach over 500 dancers. And we answer questions and we try to motivate them and give them advice for the future. And
Where are you going next? Where's Ash going to be next?
we're off currently. We start back in the fall and we do 20 cities a year and one nationals in Orlando, Florida. So we start regionally in the fall in October in Orlando, Florida, and we go all the way till April.
Dave, how many miles do you think DJ puts on his card? And it's like, if
A lot of, well, if he's flying 3 times a week, average.
yeah,
Think of that.
that's just incredible. How do you, like, what is your key to flying? Like, because for me, I hate flying because I don't fit in any seat because I'm 6'4".
Well, he's so flexible though, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he could like put his leg up and like.
It matters, but my key, actually, I'm claustrophobic and I'm acrophobic as well, which is very strange. Like, I hate flying, but I have a process. I usually don't go to sleep the night before because when your body is like irresistibly tired, it just shuts down no matter what you're going through. So I usually am so tired that I just pass out. I'm just like, and then the other thing is I try to distract myself. I try to read or I do work. And as far as me, because it's taxing and I do get really discouraged. I'm like, man, I cannot go through TSA again. I cannot do this. Like, it's exhausting. And then you wait for your bags and then the bags don't show up. And then just all of that. I try to remember why I'm going to where I'm going and how lucky I am. I'm like, you're going to inspire a bunch of kids, or you're going to this place where you've never been before. How many people get to do that? How many people are working jobs right now that they don't like, but they're just doing it because they need to provide for their kids or they need a means to get food, but you're doing something that supplies all of that and it's something you love, and that's something that you should never forget. So I try to remember that too.
When traveling with in the entourage with Cher, what's that experience like? You guys must go pretty first class and beautiful tour buses, and I'm guessing.
Yeah, she's awesome. She takes really great care of us. I fly business class, and we have these beautiful luxury tour buses with these beds and like little lounge areas, and they get us whatever food we want for the bus rides because they're kind of long, which obviously I put down hot Cheetos and gummy bears and everything. So I'm probably not going to eat, but I'm just like, well, they said they're going to get everything we want, so I just put a bunch of stuff down. It's wonderful. She's great. She does this thing, we have bingo nights occasionally, which is always fun. From the crew to the dancers, the singers, everyone that's a part of production, she rents a huge ballroom in a hotel, and there's free drinks and food and everything for everyone. And we play bingo for cash prizes. And she just gives out money and she plays with us and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. We get really stressed.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever performed in front of when touring with Cher?
The biggest crowd, I want to say somewhere between, I want to say 22,000 people.
Wow.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
So we've been through your life, and one of the things that we do now is we like to go through what we call the no huddle. Our show is called Huddle Up with Gus, and we do the no huddle. We try to go at the end, and we like to fire a bunch of questions at you and have you answer them real quick and just have some fun with it. So we're going to get your quick wits out right now, okay?
There's not a timer, is there? Am I going to be stressed?
No, you're not going to be stressed.
You'll be just fine.
You'll be great.
I have anxiety from America's Got Talent.
No, there's no X, red X, or golden buzzer or anything like that. We're good.
I've never gotten any exes, but just in case.
Okay, if you had to pick one person who's the greatest dancer ever,
I'm gonna go with Desmond Richardson.
Nice.
It's really hard, but I'm just gonna spit them out off the top of my head.
do you have a pet peeve?
I do. I have numerous pet peeves. One of them is I don't like when people interrupt me when I'm talking. I think it's very rude.
I like that. If there was a movie about DJ Smart, who would play DJ Smart in the movie?
I would say either Darren Henson or Idris Elba.
I like that.
Sounds good to me. Okay, if you could go back in time and tell a young DJ Smart one thing, what would it be?
I would tell DJ, there's no one like you and you're unusual, but that's okay. That's going to be your biggest asset one day.
All right, so if DJ Smart, when he was 12, decided not to be a dancer, to be a track star, what would have been your favorite race or whatever it would have been you've done event in track?
Hurdles, for sure.
Hurdles are tough. I coached a kid in high school. His name was Ezekiel Elliott. He plays for the Dallas Cowboys now. And he was the state champion 4 years in a row in the hurdles in Missouri.
Wow.
And I didn't think that would transfer to the football field, but it actually, because of the flexibility and everything, like his speed and his strength was incredible.
Yeah, it's hard.
You could probably high jump too. I can see him.
Oh yeah, I could see him high jumping.
Definitely.
Like, you would have definitely done that.
What do you think the biggest misconception about dance is?
That it's easy. It's very difficult.
If you had to go out and perform one dance right now, what is your favorite? Yeah, I know you're vested in a ton of different styles. What is your favorite right now?
I think it probably have to be between contemporary and Latin ballroom. Probably maybe like salsa or cha-cha.
If you could be anyone for one day, who would it be?
Obama.
What do you think he's doing right now?
I don't know. I'm like, maybe he's like smoking a cigar, drinking coffee somewhere in a bathroom.
You don't want anybody to see him. He's just in the bathroom.
Yeah. On the bath, just reading the news, just shaking his head like, what's going on today?
So you've been all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite place that you've ever been to?
Oh, that's hard.
You're going to fly there right now.
One of my top favorite places that I've been already,
Yeah.
I would say probably Dubai.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you like Dubai?
I always wanted to visit the Burj Khalifa, and I love Dubai also. I think it's just beautiful, but I wanted to visit the tallest building in the world. And I was actually invited to perform for an award show, which was at the Burj Khalifa. So I was like, yes! 2 birds in one stone. So
Did you go to the top floor?
it was like, it was a little bit above midway through. So it was pretty, I didn't go to the top floor, but it was pretty high up.
Yeah, so in New York at the Empire State Building, I took the kids on top, and they were little, and I've never been really afraid of heights. I was so nervous and anxious, I couldn't even go to the edge and look over because I was so scared for like the kids, and the elevator ride down was terrible. I was so nervous. Does any of that bother you?
It does. It does. I don't like to stand next to the edge of anything.
All right, Dave, last one. What do you got?
Real easy. What's your favorite all-time movie?
My favorite all-time movie? Oh, at this time, I mean, I have several, but I'll pick one. I think Liar Liar is hilarious.
It's a great movie. Are you a big Jim Carrey fan?
I like a lot of his stuff. I think he's really smart, but I think he's hilarious. He's a hilarious actor.
Okay, this will be the last one, and you can't say share. Who's the most famous person on your phone right now?
The most famous person on my phone. Oh, that's hard. The most famous person on my phone. I can't even think right now. Oh my gosh, I'm like.
You can say share.
Yeah,
We'll take share.
Hey, DJ, it was great. You taught us a lot today. Thank you for sharing your story with us in the huddle. And I think you just have an amazing personality, amazing story, and I think our fans are going to love to hear and learn a little bit about dance and how important it is in our world today.
Thank you guys. So nice having you guys too. It's been a great time.
Thanks, DJ.
Thanks, DJ. I'll let you know when it comes out, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Bye.